Hi, this is Jordan Ramirez, and normally I host my podcast show, Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez. Now, I am hosting a special show for my podcast, Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez Minisode Jordan Ramirez Recommends. The minisodes are now airing every Monday at 12 p.m. as part of the Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez podcast. So, without further ado, you're listening to Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez Minisode. For my 10th episode, my recommended film is the comedy feature Mandibles, released in 2020, directed by Quentin Dupieux, starring Grégoire Ludig, David Massey, Adèle Exarchopoulos, India Hare, Romeo Elvis, Coralie Roussier, and Bruno Lochette. It is a story about two best friends, Manu and Jean-Gab, played by Grégoire Ludig and David Massey, who have a special working assignment. They have to pick up a suitcase from a mysterious person named Michelle to deliver it to the client. Then they discover in the trunk of their car that there is a giant fly. So they decide to abandon the suitcase job assignment and instead tame and train the fly so that they can get rich quick. Then there is a case of mistaken identity from Cecile, played by India Hare, who believes that Manu resembles her old high school friend Fred. Manu and Jean-Gab are invited to stay at Cecile's house with her brother, Serge, and also their friend Sandrine, and of course their maid, Agnès, who has a sort of vocal problem. And they also bring the large fly into the bedroom to continue training it. When it comes to original films that rely on absurdist or surrealist humor, I enjoyed it from beginning to end. The plot, even though it is ridiculous and does not provide any logical explanations, is good on its own terms. Dupieux's story is funny and unironic. I wanted to see something that is both enjoyable and stupid to watch, and this film proved to do both. It is a minimalist picture that doesn't require a lot, but it manages to work. Dupieux manages to also be an outstanding cinematographer in capturing the landscape and the beaches of France, the exterior of the house that they stay in, and the trailer that they took over from the previous owner. The performances in this film are enjoyable. Grégoire Ludig and David Massey feel believable in playing the roles of these simple-minded characters in this film. It feels like watching a French version of a Farrelly Brothers comedy film with these two characters. One of my favorite characters who provides a standout performance as a scene stealer is Agnès, played by Adèle Exarchopoulos. Her character suffers from a brain injury which causes her vocal cords to be raised so high as if she is shouting, which to the owners of the house says it is normal. In terms of the surrealist aspect, I thought that a giant fly that appears in the trunk of the car without any explanation, and how these simple-minded friends that believe taming it will make them wealthy, makes me laugh and forget about the real-world logic and to embrace the inner idiocy of life, and also to watch a feel-good movie just for once. Dupieux originally was inspired to write this film with its dry humor from a movie that he actually saw, the Coen brothers film No Country for Old Men, that he enjoyed. Just to make it a dry comedy without the accompaniment of music, both stylistically in the writing process and visually on screen, is a daunting and daring task, but it works. If one is asking the director why he chose a fly, Dupieux said, quote, "When I did the movie Rubber, everybody was asking, why a tire? I can't tell why. There's no reason. I have tons of ideas all the time, but when one of them stays, I know it's because there's something interesting about it. I don't know why yet, but you're like, I have so many ideas that die all day long. You think about something, but then you forget. And then there's the fly idea, the giant fly idea. I had it a few years ago, and it kept coming back. In my head, I was like, all the time. Basically, the first idea, was a giant fly stuck in the trunk of the car with some junk around it. I don't know why. I liked the idea of it, so then I had to build a story around it. As Dupieux was writing the script, he had to think of the dialogue for the two main characters, Manu and Jean-Gab, that made them sound like children. Dupieux: I think it's a guy thing. This connection is like, I remember when I discovered Dumb and Dumber. I loved it and I wanted to show it to my girlfriend. And she was like, this is just like teenagers. It's not funny. And I was like, really? I thought this thing was universal, but it's not. I think it's just the way guys are stupid when they are between 12 and 18, end quote. Dupuis mentioned in the same interview for the upcoming .co.uk website, quote, I'd rather make tons of small movies with small ideas in a way, rather than work 5 years on a big budget movie where you write the script 50 times. This is not my thing. Some people do that very well, not me. The film received mostly positive reviews and praise, as well as a fan base for director Quentin Dupieux, including John Waters. He listed this film as one of his top 10 favorite films of 2021. He described it as, quote, the stupidest art film of the year, directed by a Gaelic auteur who specializes in one-joke dumbbell comedies about a giant fly and two French stooges, is also one of the funniest and most charming. I admire this entertaining film that doesn't rely on making money on a get-rich-quick scheme, but is more about friendship that is the greatest wealth of all, and that even as they get into trouble over the most simple things, they still have each other, and that will never change. And that you don't have to make a big budget film for the most simplest or crazy ideas to get you noticed. I hope that you enjoy my recommendation for this film. This has been a Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez Minisode. Tune into the Minisodes every Monday at 12 p.m. and Film Talk with Jordan Ramirez every Friday at 4 p.m. on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. If you are on Spotify, make sure to subscribe to my show and give it a positive rating in order for the show to keep getting recognition, as well as answering any polls that I will share with you in the future. And until then, I'll see you at the movies.